Got to give the people what they want. We're going to get y'all ready for this little assessment activity we're going to do tomorrow. It's the same spaghetti joint that we did yesterday. So I want to make sure you're on top of the game. Copy this down. Pause right now and copy everything down first. Cool, you did that. We're going to talk about distance from the x-axis versus distance from the y-axis. This first one is an example of distance from the x-axis, right? So you see this circle right here, right? Notice in this circle, from here to here is a length of 1. It's called a unit circle because every radius from here to here is a length of 1. You don't need to write that. From here to here is a length of 1, but notice it's negative because it's moving in the negative direction. Okay? From here to here is a length of 1, but again, notice it's negative because it's moving down in the negative direction. This is called a unit circle. Just a little information that we'll get to more. But we're going to talk about distance from the x-axis. So I want to know a 30-degree angle. Now look at this graph. Notice this is a distance of 1, which is the same distance between here and here. This goes from 0 to -1, which is the same distance between here and here. All right, so see how this chart on the side lines up with my unit circle, right? So at 30 degrees, so I'm looking at 30 degrees. If I'm looking at that 30-degree angle, this hypothetical angle right here, which is 30 degrees, I want to know, well, what's the distance between that point on my circle and the x-axis? So if I'm trying to figure that out, and I'm just going to clean mine up, I'm going to just say, oh, it goes from here to right here. It's about that tall. That's the distance between the x-axis and the point. So I'm going to put that same one on my chart. Notice it's right around the same size. It's about that tall. All right? Now, 45 degrees, I'm doing the same thing. What is the distance in this angle, which is now a 45-degree angle, between the x-axis and that point on the circle, on the unit circle? Okay, that means it's from about there to there. I'm going to draw the same thing. 45. Notice these heights just about line up. And it looks like so. All right, so there's my 45. Let me erase a little bit of stuff here. Clean this up. I'm not going to keep drawing things in the same way because you all did this today. So let's look at the 60 now. Let me get this back. Excuse me. 60. The distance from the x-axis to there is that long. I'm going to draw that same size line. Boom, looks like it's about there. See how these like line up? It's right around the same size, right? We're getting the same size line. Okay? And then finally I'm going to do the 90. That's from here to here. We know exactly how far that is because that is a 1, right? We know that the length of this line is 1, so from here to here is also 1. So here to here is also 1. So I just did the distance of all those angles from the x-axis. Now I'm going to do another piece of it, but I'm going to take the distance of these same angles, and I'm going to show what it looks like in negative. Well, if 180, right, I'm right here. Sorry, excuse me, for 210, the next one I'm going to do is 210. It's from here to here. It's shorter. It's going down, so mine is going to go down because this is the negative direction, moving downwards, negative. And it looks like it's about that long. 225 is about that long, right? It's in between those lines right there. Might get a little bit longer. 240 is even longer. Looks like 240 is a little bit past that line right there. Right? You can see There's 240. And yep, a little bit past the line. Right there. Boom. I'm not going to fill in all the rest, but I just want you to see how we're noticing that it's mirroring the distance, away from the ground. Now, there is also this next one, so you should pause and draw it again, and we're going to do distance from the y-axis. And again, I'm just going to do a couple of them. So if I want to do, maybe I'll skip to 6. I need to do all of them, but 60 looks like it's from here to here, right? So the distance from the y-axis for 60 goes that far. Oh, no. Tripping. 60. Let's start with 30. 30, sorry, you all. Just take that part out. 30 goes from here to here because I'm distancing from the y-axis. So whatever the length of that is, which looks like it's pretty close to 1, is like there. 45 gets a little bit shorter. Maybe it's there. 60 even gets a little bit shorter. Maybe it's there. And 90, the distance from the y-axis, isn't really anything. And notice these are all moving in the positive direction. Well, what if I have these angles over here? What about 210? Notice I'm going backwards. It's going pretty far, close to all the way, close to -1, but not quite. But it's in the negative direction. So 210 is getting close to -1, not quite. 225 is getting shorter than that. 240 is getting even shorter than that. 270, which would be this right here, has no distance between it. So it's literally on the y-axis. So you can see how this one does like this, gets down and comes up. This one does like this, will get down and come up. So there are two different ways to look at it. You're going to make them with spaghetti. It'll be much easier to have it in hand, but you need to make sure that you recognize what's the difference between measuring distance from an x-axis or measuring distance from a y-axis.